Hello and welcome to Retro Gaming Swede. Today we'll take a look at something really special. Do you know what you get if Probotector and Metroid had a kid? This Super Turrican for the NES. Turrican was actually a pretty big series back in the day. It started out on the Commodore 64 and was highly praised. Made by a guy called Manfred Trenz, and with music from the legendary game composer Chris Hülsbeck. Then it moved on to the Amiga and spread to almost every system available at the time. The NES version was never released outside of Europe though, which makes it a bit expensive, at around 200 to 300 euros or dollars for a crisp and nice complete English version. So, is it worth all that cash? Or is it one of those games that are expensive just because of exclusivity? Is it a hidden gem? Or does it smell like an old dog turd stuck to the bottom of your shoe? Let's find out! So the game starts off in an outside area, a not too hard level so you can learn the controls and try a couple of weapons. There are 4 different base weapons in this game. The starting gun that you get rid of the first seconds of the game. The first special weapon you get a hold of is the Spreadshot. This gun is amazing on these open stages but doesn't deal that much damage. You'll use this for the first 3 stages until you get to the first boss. Right before fighting him you should try to change to the auto-fire laser gun. This one is far superior on bosses, and on the rest of the levels that are mostly narrow paths with a few open spaces sprinkled in there. The last weapon is the bouncing gun. This should be avoided like the plague. You shoot big bouncing balls, can be useful in a couple of places, but generally it's absolute shit. That's where your second base attack comes into play, the so-called lightning attack. It's basically a beam you can control the direction of. You do this by holding down the fire button, which can be a bit confusing in the beginning because when you use the auto fire gun you'll need to move all the time, or else your character will start this fire mode and won't be able to move. Then you have the ball mode. You can turn into a ball just like in Metroid. This is absolutely necessary in some stages because you can't get hurt when you're in ball form. You can also release small bombs, but I haven't seen a good use for it. You turn into a ball by pressing down and start. Just pressing start makes you use a super attack that can be angled where you want, and holding down the fire button and pressing start unleashes a screen clearing super attack. Very useful. Select pauses the game? Yeah, that's weird. Every time I need to pause the game I first press the start button and nothing happens, and then I remember that I should have pressed the select button, wasting a special attack. The stages are big, and on the later ones you can spend several lives trying to find the exit. Sometimes it's really easy to find and sometimes it's hidden in weird spots. Like on level 2-1 where you're supposed to go down a hole in the ground that looks just like a hole that would normally kill you. The game does get hard on the later stages with enemies and bullets coming from everywhere, but it's not in a necessarily bad way. It never feels as if the game is cheating in any way, and the controls are really great. I've always felt like there are 2 ways that games can be hard. Either it's by cheating or challenge. Unless you count games that's hard by having bad controls or any other big flaw. This game is of the challenge category. The second set of levels are set in a cave system, and this is where the difficulty starts to ramp up. It took me ages to get through, but once you learn which path to take, it's not too hard. Some parts of the level have these spikes coming out of the floor and ceiling, but once you turn into a ball they can't hurt you, so it's just to roll between them and you're good to go. The boss here is a flying robot, and you just do the same thing with this guy. Just stand around and aim and you're done. The third set of levels starts off with a lift level, and these can be seriously annoying. If you fall off, you always have to jump down further than you want just to get the platform to respawn. I hate this. The enemies aren't that hard, but if you don't time your jumps right or get stuck on something, you're screwed. The boss is another flying robot trying to shoot you with lightning. He's not very hard either, just shoot him, and whenever he starts shooting lightning, you just enter ball mode and he can't hurt you. The fourth set of levels are clearly inspired by the Alien movies. There's even alien heads everywhere. These levels are huge and really easy to get lost on, mostly because everything sort of looks the same. The most annoying enemies here are the red alien bats. They're everywhere. The last section of this level is infuriating. It's another lift level, but this time the platforms disappear at their highest point. This makes everything so much harder because now you need absolute perfect timing or else you'll fall a long way. In some cases you might fall all the way to the bottom. Anyway, once you get through this mess, you get to the boss that's also insanely easy. This one is just a stone square with a face, and as long as you stand in the hole in the wall, you can never get hurt. Just stand and shoot. The fifth and last level set is some sort of flying construction, and this is hard. This took me 3 days to get through, and I was cheating with save states. The enemies are coming at you from every angle, and the levels are massive and maze-like. But once again, when you finally learn where to go, it's not unfairly hard. The most annoying thing here though is that there are platforms that's the same color as the background in some places. If you know what to look for, it's fine, but when you start out, it can be really annoying. The last level before the final boss has you jumping between some really small blocks and beating up 2 mini-bosses before going into the glowing boss door. The final boss is a huge robot guy just sitting around shooting all kinds of stuff at you. He seems pretty hard at first before you realize you can just stand on his head, giving him a nice bullet lobotomy. So, what's my verdict on this game? It can be seriously challenging to get through, and if I didn't play this on my retro-free console with save states, it would have taken me weeks to beat. But if you're a running gun fanatic, it's probably nothing too bad. If you like the mix of shooting and exploration, it's a fantastic game. The controls are great and the stages are varied. The music is stellar and the sound is also very good. But would I pay $200 for it? No, I would never pay that much for just one game. If you have the cash though, it's a really fun game. I would probably rank it at 4.5 out of 5. I had a lot of fun with it and the challenge was just right. That was all for today, so see you next time. Thanks for watching Retro Gaming Swede, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to see more.